This deck is called Text Burn. It centers around burn cards that punish both players for activating cards or effects, or even such simple things as an attack declaration. The card this deck owes its name to is the continuous spell card Toll. Toll makes both players pay 500 life points every time they want to attack with a monster. Chain Energy is another continuous spell card, which imposes the payment of 500 life points on each player that wants to play or set a card from their respective hands. Dark Snake Syndrome enforces the payment of life points on both players during each of our own standby phases. In the first standby phase after this card's activation, the burn damage amounts to 200 life points, and it gets doubled during each standby phase that follows. Curse of Darkness is a continuous trap that forces both players to pay 1000 life points every time they want to activate a spell. Be aware though that both Curse of Darkness and Dark Snake Syndrome involve burn damage, whereas Toll and Chain Energy require us to pay a cost. This is important for Death Wombats, I will talk about in a second. This deck's heart and soul, the centerpieces of this deck, can be derived from its name. Even though we need the burn cards I mentioned beforehand, we also need a way to circumvent taking damage through these burn effects, if we are to activate our own cards. This is where Death Wombat comes into the picture. It is a beast-type monster released in Lost Millennium, which nullifies damage inflicted by card effects the player that controls Death Wombat would otherwise receive. Meaning Death Wombat covers both Dark Snake Syndrome and Curse of Darkness, as both make not only the opponent, but also us take damage. But it doesn't cover Toll and Chain Energy, because with them we only pay a cost and don't take damage. Death Wombat thus is a card that restrains the damage to our life points in such a way that only the opponent is punished for his actions. Now onto some other burn cards that only affect the opponent. Solar Flare Dragon inflicts 500 points of burn damage to the opponent during each of our standby phases, end phases. This Koala has the flip effect of dealing 400 points of damage to the opponent for each card in the opponent's hand. The continuous spell card Wave Motion Can inflicts 1000 points of damage to the opponent's life points times the number of our standby phases that have passed since it has been activated. It can only resolve during our main phase, and it can be devastating if the opponents cannot destroy it with spell or trap removal. The next card also becomes more effective the further the duel progresses. The normal trap card Secret Barrel deals 200 points of damage to the opponent's life points, times the number of cards he has in hand and on his side of the field. For our last two burn cards, I play one Magic Cylinder and one Ring of Destruction, as both have been limited to one in God format. To gather resources and to cycle through our deck, I play both jars, Cyber Jar and Morphing Jar. Now onto some spells and traps that let us stall while we wait for the opponent making his moves and getting punished in the process. 1 Swords of Revealing Lights, double Level Limit Area B, and double Gravity Bind are all very effective for the purpose of stalling out. One might also add Messenger of Peace and take out some burn cards to balance out this deck's defensive capacities with its potential in dealing burn damage. But I leave that up to you to decide for yourself. Then I play one Sinister Serpent to cope with hostile discard outlets. As always, one Pot of Greed and one Graceful Charity, and one Mirror Force and one Torrential Tribute in order to contain the field presence of the opponent. That's it for this deck profile. As always, the decklist can be found in the video description. Thanks for watching, and until next time, bye!